Welcome back to part two of the podcast. We're now going to take a little look at Arsenal's game against Aston Villa, which they won 2-0. And boss, Will Johnson, is going to take over right now. And how do you think the game went?
Yeah, boss. 2-0, got our revenge, which was great. Obviously, as Neville and whoever else was commentating with him kept wanting to mention that Villa were the only team to beat us in 2024 so far. Really good. 2-0, another clean sheet. I have to say, probably not the most exciting game. Neither team really wanted to kind of take a risk and expose themselves to the other's attack. But 2-0, and that's all that matters. I'm so happy that we beat them at their ground, because Villa last season obviously dropped 6 points at their home and away. We lost. But yeah, it was a good game. Good to see Partey getting some more minutes under his belt. I think he needs it. He's definitely a player that kind of grows into a season. Unfortunately, he grows in and then gets injured. Hopefully, the injury part won't do it. Great to see Saka getting another assist, building up those stats already. 2 assists and a goal. Should have really been 3. He got 2 assists in the game, but one of them they didn't give him because it deflected. But yeah, really good game from the results point of view, but from an actual entertainment point of view, didn't really live up to the 2 top 4 teams playing each other and the biggest game of the weekend.
No, I mean I watched the game admittedly myself, and I must admit that the first half was, aside from like Ollie Watkins, basically nothing really happened.
Yeah, Saka had a good chance where Martinez made a good save and then celebrated like he'd won the game.
Yeah, he did. You're right. Yeah, I do remember that. I thought that happened in the second half for some reason, but no, you're absolutely right. And basically, nothing else really happened. And
no, apart from obviously the big chance in the first half, Watkins kind of missing that chance that probably 99. Actually, I wouldn't say 999 out of 1,000. He's putting that in the back of the net.
Definitely.
So thankfully that was the time that he didn't do it. Look, maybe I've got the old Arsenal goggles on, but I don't quite understand how it wasn't a foul on Gabriel. I've looked back at him, like watched it. The guy's all over him, doesn't get the ball, and it squirms away to Rodgers and then passes it to Watkins. I can't understand how he didn't put it in the back of the net, but very, very thankful that he didn't. But apart from that, really, those 2 chances either side, like Saka's chance, which was a good shot, good save, and then the Watkins chance, it was a pretty forgettable first half, to be honest. I think looking back in the season, I'm not going to go, that was a great game that I got to watch. Yeah, coming into the second half, obviously, again, the big chance before at 0-0, Watkins trying to, with the header. What an amazing save. I think we spoke about this just after it happened, Leone, and I said, how did Watkins miss that? But more I watch it, it's like, Raya, so happy that he's stepping up. I know he won the Golden Gloves last season and he was in the PFA Team of the Year, but there was always that thing where, was he that good? But, was it actually just Saliba and Gabriel just kind of protected him for the whole game? He didn't really have those moments in the league where we would have said, he won us that game. But what I am absolutely loving about this season is already, in my eyes, Raya has saved us for 5 points. I would say if he doesn't make that save against Wolves when we're 1-0, that's going to be a tough game. That would have been a tough final part of that game. Obviously, we win 2-0, so it looks a bit easy. And then that save from Watkins, how he managed to fling himself off the ground and get that save. And I'm also, when I replay it, you also notice Bailey is waiting in that box as well. So if he doesn't manage to get that save and push it far enough away that Bailey then can't just have a tap in, start it.
Incredible.
I love Ramsdale. Honestly, I love Ramsdale, and I've always had a bit of a thing for Raya because like you took my boy's place, but he is stepping up this season already, and he's proving his true worth to the team.
He's proving his doubters wrong, and me being one of them. Like I said to you and another one of my friends who's an Arsenal fan, like, firstly, I said, you can't win the league with Ramsdale because he's got too many ricks in him. He's a great goalie, but he's just got too many mistakes because of his character, who he is.
Yeah,
He's sort of got that Pickford bit about him. He's a better bloke than Pickford, but he's got.
yeah. I understand what you mean, though. He will produce the magnificent, but in your back of your mind, especially the way Arsenal want to play, he could be a liability as well. I mean, I would say I think we obviously didn't win the league. We haven't won it, and we didn't win it with Ramsdale. But I still think, he's great. And I used to always think the Ramsdale versus Raya. I thought Ramsdale is a better goalkeeper, but Raya could do the one thing that Arteta wanted, which was to take the ball and encourage the press and be good enough with your feet to be able to go out and make that pass and be confident enough that you had it. And that's what Arteta wanted. He wanted that. He wanted that 11th outfielder. But this season, Raya already, I know it's only 2 games, but my God, he's stepped up to the plate and he's just...
To play devil's advocate then here, could you see it where that's too much? He's already had to save you 3 times in 2 games from conceding and potentially then, like you're saying, going on to lose? Or is that just football?
I think that's football. I think also, I have to say, like, I love Saliba and Gabriel, but they've been a bit sleepy in the first couple of games.
Natural.
I think that they're Saliba played every game for France, got to the semis. Gabriel, I believe, went to the Copa America. I think they're just finding their feet and growing into the season. And while they're doing that, there's a couple of times, like you saw on that save, that obviously the chance Villa had, there were 2 Villa players that reacted to that fact that ball could bounce back off the crossbar. And both our centre backs didn't react. Yeah. So I think whilst they're kind of getting into it and getting back into their, hopefully they find the form of last season, and Saliba, and that he showed massive glimpses of his form for last season. I mean, when we were 2-0 up, he made this Bellerin-esque dart back in to do a last ditch tackle against, I think, Duran. To stop him scoring. So they're there, but they need to. I think they're at 95% of where they were last season, and that 5% is allowing those extra chances. Raya, while they're doing that, is standing up and being counted. I think that's an amazing thing, that we can rely on a keeper, just like you can with Alisson, when people manage to break through the Van Dijk. They steps up and he saves you.
Yeah, you have a Van Dijk. You've got Van Dijk, then Van Dijk 2, or for you, you've got
Van Dijk with gloves on, right?
Yeah, and then you've got Saliba number 2, and it's like now, like you're saying, he's transitioning from he's calm under pressure and like an outfield player, good with his feet, but now he's also producing moments where it's like, last season that might have gone in, now it's not. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, exactly. Like last season, he may have not saved those. And I think, and I don't know whether it's the fact that he's now officially an Arsenal player. He's not on loan. He's had that season to really embed himself into that group and to truly be, because they're in. I know from like pretty much from the second half of the season, there was never a discussion of Ramsdale versus Raya last season, but truly now he's come and start that season. I am number one. I am number one. There is no doubt in everyone, in the whole fan base's mind, in the team's mind, that I'm number one. And I think that's really given them the confidence to be able to step up. And yeah, just an amazing save and kept us in that game. That was 0-0, right? That's so important. Do we go and score our first and our second with that going in? It would have been very, very difficult. I mean, at that point, Villa weren't really attacking us. They were like, look, we've got this mid-block, try and pass through us, and we weren't able to do that. So absolutely great. But game kind of changed when with the introduction to Trossard. Great player. I loved his passion, his disappointment, and his kind of almost like his two fingers up to the manager to say, why the hell am I not starting? This is what I can do when I'm on the pitch. And it wasn't only his goal, he was very influential in our second goal as well. Gabriel played a lovely ball over to him, over the top of the defence. He found the space behind the right back, played it through. Saka picked it up. Saka plays it to Partey. Partey scores. What I love about that goal as well is that Martinez, he's meant to be the world's best goalkeeper. You should be saving that shot, right? And I love the fact that he didn't save it.
It was actually quite a good finish, though. Although I understand what you're saying. If he's the best goalie in the world, he at least needs to be getting a full touch on it.
Well, he does. He gets a full hand, but he doesn't get a strong enough hand to push it around the post. And it wasn't like the shot was an inch inside the post. There was
passed it in with a little bit of curl, like just bump.
Yeah.
Yeah, I take the point, and that's what I mean. If you're not, what I mean is, if it is so powerful and not so accurate, but so powerful that he got his hand to it and it bounced up and off and in, you go, all right, that happens from time to time. But what you're saying is, he got there, but didn't actually do anything when he got there. So that's not good, is it? It's not good.
No, and it does. Like I had to sit last season listening to bloody Carragher and Neville talk about Martinez being the best goalkeeper in the world, and that Arsenal shouldn't have got rid of him. But he makes those mistakes all the time, the time.
He's another pick.
Of course, yeah. Of course, he's the big. You talked about Ramsdale pulling off those amazing saves, being that kind of player, but has that mistake in him. Martinez has that, and I think that's what separates the top runs. And we discussed this before about basically I think there's really only kind of two goalkeepers in that world class stature of Alisson and Ederson. Maybe you get Donnarumma in there, maybe Neuer, but he's coming to the end. But yeah, those two are the standout keepers, and then you've got the rest. And I think Ray is pulling away from the rest, not quite with Alisson yet, but he's on the trajectory, I believe. But really happy. But yeah, speaking about Trossard coming in, I'm going off on a tangent. I always go off on a tangent with Arsenal players. But yeah, really happy. Trossard scored, lovely finish, nice play from Saka. What I loved about in the build-up, if you rewatch the goal, the Villa left back, the old Everton player. I forgot what he's called.
Yeah. Lucas Digne.
What's it called? Yeah, Digne. He's basically holding Saka. He's like they're having a little dance. He's holding him, and then the ball gets played, and he still thinks, "Oh, we're going to hold him," and Saka's just going, "I'm gone." Runs to the tie line, pulls it back, beautiful. I have to say one thing I was slightly disappointed in the game was I was slightly disappointed with Martinelli, and
I'm not sure. Because he was so good last season and on the up. He seems to. What do you think? Do you think he's stagnated or something, or it's just the beginning?
No, you know what it is. I think he's. I don't know what's stopping him, but from being that marauding Diaz kind of winger, where I'm gonna take you on because I know I'm faster than you, I'm trickier than you, and I'm gonna beat you. And there was a chance in the first half when Martinelli had the ball and he was basically one-on-one with, I don't know what the Villa's guy's name was, but he'd replaced Matty Cash. It was his debut. He was a young 18-year-old right back. Martinelli just needed to play it in behind him and run and do it. And he turned back. And I think I'm just a bit disappointed. I don't know whether it's a confidence thing or whether he is being asked by Arteta to play in a more structured manner. But I'm just a bit slightly disappointed in Martinelli, in what I know he can do and what I've seen him do so often is that he beats the man. I'm going to beat you because I am faster than you, I am trickier than you, I am better than you. And I'd love him to get that mentality back. And I think when he does get that mentality back, and I think it's only a blip, he's going to be obscene again. But yeah, I would say if you've got the Trossard Martinelli debate going on in the Arsenal fan base at the moment, you've got to maybe be bringing off Martinelli, starting Trossard, and then saying to Martinelli on the 60th, 70th minute, you go on, you've got a tired defence, you just go and run at them. You push them back. You don't allow them to come up high. And once they see you start pushing them back, they'll go into that lower block. We then get more space in midfield and we can start much more dictating the game again. But really, really kind of... I enjoyed the performance. I enjoyed the control, but it wasn't really a game to write home about.
Nah, I mean, I like Martinelli as well. As a Liverpool fan, there was like interest from Liverpool a little while ago. And do you know who he reminds me of, right? And this is going to sound mental because, humour me here, he reminds me of Suarez, right?
That's high praise.
Yeah, but he's not skillful enough to actually do the manoeuvres that he's doing, but he's powerful enough, aggressive enough and fast enough and wants it enough that it'll work. It'll like go past him. Like, I've never seen Martinelli do like 95 step overs, do like a flip flap thing and then nutmeg someone, run through. He's more like this way, that way, knock the ball past you, and I'm gone, mate. Or you're not catching me. If you get near me, I'm stronger than you. If you can't get near me, I'm just faster than you. And it's not that he's like Suarez wasn't this either. He's not a precise finisher. He does, same as Suarez.
Yeah.
But they don't go in and calmly Henry it into the corner. It's like boom, and you're not about that anymore. Like your team isn't. It's like Slot I was talking about earlier, calm. And I don't like it when wingers do that. Arteta is never telling a winger when you get really forward and you're 1-on-1, come back. He's never said that ever in his life. You come back. Don't go and score. Come back.
Yeah.
It's got to be Martin.
Yeah, but I do. Yeah, I get what you mean. But I think Martinelli he's trying to play in a system that maybe doesn't go to his
strengths. Yeah,
kind of explosive strengths.
No.
But I do think maybe it's just like the whole team were a bit sleepy, so maybe it was just that.
Early days, mate. Early days.
Yeah. His early days. I'll tell you what, one outside of the Arsenal team, one player that really impressed me was Morgan Rogers.
Jesus, player.
He was so good against our midfield. We don't have the fastest midfield when Rice and Partey play, but they obviously have many more strengths than just speed. But he was able to just take it, turn and run, and he really caused us a lot of problems. Really impressed. I was checking him out after the game, like seeing like where he's come from. He's only been at Villa since January, moved from Middlesbrough. Yeah. So he's had half a season and he's already stepping up into those games. Really, really thought, very good player. Definitely one to watch. Yeah. Annoyingly, he's a Man City academy player, but really one to watch. Think superb player. Villa have got a very, very talented midfielder on their hands, I think, with Rodgers.
Agree. He's insane. He absolutely bullied your team. It was weird to watch because no one's really done that to you. Not one player on his own, anyway, because nobody else in the team. It was basically him. Anything positive they were doing, he was like... It was like someone had combined like the strength of Vieira with like the control of Bergkamp and the youth of Theo Walcott.
Yeah, I think you're going to extremes on the praise there, mentioning those three names, but yeah, I completely agree that his game was on point. It was absolutely on point in the match. I thought he played a superb game, and I was so impressed with him. I'm going to really keep an eye out on how he performs because I think he could get. Villa don't take this the wrong way. I think he can get a big move.
Oh no!
If he carries on this season the way he is,
unbelievable. Yeah, I think if he does this like for the full season, if they play him enough, I'd take him at Liverpool.
Yeah, because he's keeping Ramsey out of the team, and Ramsey last few seasons has been one of Villa's best players. So yeah, definitely thought outside of the Arsenal team, I thought he was great. Couple of things like I found hilarious. Ben White being Ben White, love it. Booting the ball at John McGinn after McGinn booted it at Saliba. It was just, he's just such a wind-up merchant. I love him. That's like, yeah, I know we always talk about Ben White, Trent. I love Ben. You love Trent, but he's just such a wind-up merchant. I love him. I love him. Like it's so long. It's been so long that Arsenal have had this team or these type of players that will just stick up for their teammates. Like the geezer, like McGinn boots the ball at Saliba straight away. Ben White, without even thinking about it, straight into McGinn's chest. I love it, mate. It's lovely to see.
You need it. You need that to win leagues and win things. You need people who have got your back. But also, interestingly, on that point, I'm sure when you were watching the game, they were talking about it and saying, "Oh, well, that should be like a yellow card because you're not allowed to boot the ball at someone like that." What are you talking about? Like, if the whistle had gone, it was like free, and then he boots it at somebody, you could understand being booked because it's dissent and being a bit of an arse. But the whistle hadn't gone, and he's allowed to boot it at whatever player he wants to boot it at. If you're in the way,
Yeah,
it's no one. Ben White could say, "I was just clearing it." How do you know?
yeah, and John McGinn didn't get booked, and like he did the exact same thing. So it was just a tit for tat, but I loved it. Like Ben White with his housery is just last season. It was hilarious to see with the goalkeepers, and now he's set his sights on the outfield players as well.
Got to have it, mate. Got to have a player like that. We had Jimmy Milner for a while, and you just got to have one of those players who's just willing to put the boot in where it shouldn't be, and it's naughty, and you shouldn't do it, and also go mental and to back up other players. Like if it's a fight, I'm in, and that's what you need.
Yeah, because he's never dirty. He's never really dirty. But some of the things like last season, the Tottenham keeper's hands just before the corner came in, and then we scored. And he got a goal disallowed, I think, for Trossard last season because he arm locked the goalkeeper before the goal. So he does these little things that are quite different.
You need it. You need a cheater in your team. You have to have someone who's willing to cheat because ABC boss always be cheating. That's how.
Yeah, you need that person that's gonna give a bit back and make sure because it's always been even like the last 15 years. Arsenal are soft. You can get at Arsenal, but yeah, with someone like Ben White, and I just don't think you can do that anymore. We're just a power. Oh, I don't want to quote bloody Neville, but yeah, we are a bit of a powerhouse team. Like everyone's over 6 foot. Everyone knows how to handle themselves, and it's nice to see.
Yeah, it's the one difference that Arteta has in his management style and team building to like Guardiola. I'm sure there are more intricate differences, but the most obvious one when you look at the teams is like Arsenal are like up here, and then like City are like down here, and then there's like Haaland.
Yeah, it's grit. It's what Arteta was as a midfielder, mate. That's what it is. I mean, he had that grit. Shut up, mate. He was a good player.
Arteta wasn't good, boss, even for us.
He was good for Arsenal at that time when we had been basically robbed by Man City of all of our players.
Yeah, that was funny. Like in the same way, it wouldn't have been funny if it happened to Liverpool. But like, I totally agree. I just don't. I rate Arteta as a manager. And I was one of the initial people who was, you might remember, I might have had this conversation with you as well, where it's like, I just don't think he's up to it. I don't think he's got it. I don't think he just doesn't, he looks a bit weak and a bit frail. And now I look at him and I think, I was wrong. He was learning.
Yeah. He's a young manager.
When you look back, it's obvious. He was learning. And now he's a very good manager with a good idea about what he needs to do and what he needs to bring in. He's been given the correct amount of time and you're improving season on season. I hope that you do break the record and improve for a 5th season in a row. Because if you don't, I don't think you'll win the league.
Yeah, mate. A controversial opinion here, boss. Not that, let me get my Arsenal hat and my Arsenal glasses on, but I think this season we could put together the first half of the first title run that we had, where we got 51 points, and the second half of last season, I think we can put those together, and I think we can. I think high 90s, if not ones, this season. I think we might just lose the one game, but yeah, that's. But I just think we've got that grit, that strength. Like, we've taken our revenge from Villa. Now we've got Man City away coming up in either the game after Brighton or the game after that. I can't remember when it is. I know we've got Tottenham and Man City away, one after the other. We need to take our revenge there, and I think if we can beat them, I'd love it. If we beat them, I love it. But if we beat them, I think we're going to cancel the league. One final thing about the game was Calafiore made his debut. He didn't do much, but the one thing I loved about him, we've got the Italian Ben White, mate, mucking about with Martinez. At the end, trying to stop him taking something quick, getting involved with the Villa players, winding them up. Already a big fan.
You just need players like that, and let's be honest, the Italians have always been good at that.
They know the dark arts, mate. They know how to do it.
Best at it.
Yeah.
And so, with regards to your insane claim that you're going to put two amazing bits of the season together, you could. You could. Lose one, so you're not going to win the league then?
Why? We'll lose one game. We'll win the league with a one-game loss.
We didn't. And we got 97 points.
Yeah, well, let's see, mate. Let's see. In all honesty, if we came second and we lost one game all season, and we got high 90s points, I'd accept it. We couldn't beat. It'll probably be Man City. We couldn't beat Man City because we pushed them to get over 100 points, or we pushed them to get to 98, 99 points. So that's fair enough. But yeah, for me, I think we have it in our locker, and we now have the experience to go and say we are going to put those two halves of the season together, and we are going to go and do it. And I've already said about Man City are going to have so many distractions in September. It's happening in September, the court case. September, October, it's going to take so much distraction away from Pep. I know he's an amazing manager, and he is the best, if not the best ever.
Probably.
But that's going to distract him. That's going to distract the players. So I don't even think we'd need at the high 90s, but I think that's where we're going to be.
I hope so. I really, really hope so. And I think that there's one thing that we've missed out here, which is if you do lose the league to City, and you do what you said you've done, you become a Centurion, say, and you lose the league, just know it's because they cheated.
Yeah. And I'll go back. Boss, I'll go back to our conversation when I said Arteta was a good player for Arsenal at the time. Just remember, the reason City were able to knock Arsenal into a period of kind of non-compete was that they went and stole all of our best players. Yeah. They went for a 2-season period in their cheating time and stole all of our best players. They stole Clichy, they stole Adebayor, they stole Nasri, they stole Kolo Touré, they stole Bakary Sagna. These are the players that Wenger was building to become a challenger again. I don't want to harp too much on stuff that happened 15 years ago, but this is the start of the City. That was the start of the City alleged cheating, right? That they then built on that foundations to go and get Champions League, that they then go and get better players and keep going on. But yeah, I think to pull myself away from another rant about City, summing up the game, not really very memorable. Couple of major points. Raya's save really won us the game, and then we went and dominated after we scored. Obviously, we had Odegaard missed a massive chance as well to make it 3-0 as well. So it could have been even better.
Owned it. he absolutely ballooned that shot. I don't
I did, mate. It's something about Villa Park, mate, and Odegaard ballooning stuff over the bar. You just don't know what it is.
Also, similar then to the Liverpool game, basically. Like,
Yeah, I would say, yeah. I think Liverpool had much more control than Arsenal. I think Villa played very well and were very dominant in periods of the game. I don't think Brentford were ever dominant.
no,
Um,
not really.
but yeah, I mean, not that I really believe in XG or anything like that, but I checked out the XG from the game. Villa had a 1.35 XG, we had a 1.13, so they technically had better chances than us to win the game. But that's probably because Watkins' header and that was probably just Watkins' header and Watkins' miss were made up 1.35 XG. I'm surprised it didn't make up 1.99 XG, to be honest. But
Well, both of his chances should have equaled 2 goals because it was like, here's an open goal here and here's an open goal there. And he somehow managed to, although I will, as with you, I will give. And in fact, funnily enough, I said it to you when we were talking about it originally. You were like, he should have scored, could have put it over. And I was like, yeah, he could have put it over there. I was like, but it's an incredible save. Like, it's ridiculous to be able to, like, spring like that. That's what Alisson does. And sometimes you just think, how did you even get back to your feet, let alone then also dive? Like, that's insane. But I do have a couple of questions about Arsenal, not necessarily all relating to the game. One is, I know you were a big fan of this geezer, and he has now left you as of yesterday. Old Eddie, mate, Eddie Nketiah. So, what do you think about that?
yeah, mate. Like, I'm sad. I'm sad to see him go because he didn't manage to make the step up to be that number 9 that we really were crying out for. But I'm also very happy that he's gone to Palace. He hadn't. I would have been. It would have been slightly annoying for him to go to Forest because I feel in my heart Forest are just on borrowed time in the league, and I feel that Eddie wouldn't have been able to get the recognition that he deserves as a Premier League striker. But yeah, Palace. He's gone to Palace. Really exciting. They've got a really good team. They're starting to get a really exciting team, and I wish him the best. I was lucky enough to see his debut at the stadium. I was there for I think it was a Carling Cup game. It's not Carling, whatever sponsorship cup, the EFL Cup game against Norwich came on. We were 1-0 down, scored 2 goals, won us the game. An amazing atmosphere. One of my favourite times at the stadium. Everyone chanting Eddie because no one at the time could probably no one could pronounce his name and get here. He didn't have a chant because he was just a young kid coming on. But really happy to see that he's gone to a club that potentially, with a manager that is there, could be pushing Europe. Like, I'm not saying Champions League. I'm not even saying Europa, but they could be conference. They could be there with the conference. So really happy, really looking forward to seeing how he performs. I'll put it out there now. I think he'll get double figures in goals this season as long as he plays the majority of the games up front. I think he'll do very well, and really happy to see him get another Prem club, and I'm really happy to get 25 million for him, which is amazing. Like, good money for a good player. I am very much different to if you don't have to watch it, but obviously follow a lot of Arsenal, fans, pundits, whatever you like, influencers, whatever you call them, and some of the negativity around Eddie, and like there's some shitty people saying, "Oh, so glad he's left our club, get him out." He's a Hale End. He's a Hale End boy. He produced some great moments for us. Goals against Chelsea when we dicked them. Goals against United, including one last minute goal for us to win 3-2. And really at that time we just couldn't beat United because we had this mental block about beating the name Man United rather than the team that we were facing. So gave us some great memories. Really happy to see him and wish him all the best.
I did have a few other questions. However, I think as it going through most of it, you've answered most of them, because I was going to ask you about Martinelli more, about him versus Trossard argument, but basically solved that. It's sort of like, really, Trossard should be playing, I suppose.
Yeah, I think next game, especially it's Brighton as well, so his old club, it'd be good to get him in there. The only caveat I say would be that I do find that Trossard is more effective when he comes off the bench than when he starts, but he's earned that start now.
And then I was going to talk about Trossard's celebration, or at least ask you about it. But again, you touched upon it, and same as myself. If like with Trent coming off of being sour, yeah, good. That's how you want him to be. And he was one step away from pulling his shirt up and it saying "Why always me?" You know what I mean?
I loved it. It showed a bit of attitude, grit, and that's what we've been missing. Not like it got brought in last year, that grit and attitude. But yeah, it's good to see, and it's good to see players not wanting just to sit on a bench and pick up their paycheck. They truly want to come and perform, and that's what I love.
And I think that's both Arsenal and Liverpool covered. We've gone through the ins and outs of everything that's gone on with them a little bit in the transfer window and the most recent match. I suppose the last part of the Red Cartel to touch upon is Man United, isn't it?
Yeah, well, what we do, we'll take a quick break and then we'll come back with the best of the rest, really. And we'll talk about some incidents that have happened over the weekend. And then, we'll see you after this very short break.
See you soon.